It's time for the finale! Who is the least bad boyfriend? Tonight we find out. At the end of the last episode, Jacinta asked to see Itilo's phone and he said, go ahead. And I was like, oh my god. When Olivia was going through their phone, she says that for legal reasons she didn't go through everything. So I don't even think she read their messages. I think she really just looked at their social media. So Jacinta says there's 3 locked folders on here. She didn't actually read out what he said, but she was disgusted. And he says, what did you expect? And she was like, you're going and sleeping with these people and then you're coming home and lying with me. And he says, that's what cheating is. Just so fucking blasé. So at this point I thought Jacinta was going to say, do you know what? Get yourself to fuck. But I think she really knew what it was getting up to the whole time. She was probably just trying to deny it to herself. Italo said maybe something good can come from this because he's really showing that he's willing to change now. The problem is, now that Jacinta's read those messages, she's going to have them in her mind. The worst thing about this isn't even just the cheating, it's the fact that she addressed him about it and he made her out to be crazy. And I think that that's an even bigger slap in the face than being cheated on. Like, he's gaslighting her into believing that she's crazy, nothing's going on, why are you being paranoid? And it's just shocking. In last night's episode, Miles sat at that dinner table and said, I'll be marrying Shay by the end of the year. And Shay was loving life. And everybody else was like, will you though? You've changed your tune. But Miles is absolutely adamant, no, I'll be marrying her by the end of the year. So Olivia pulled him in for a chat and she says, Miles, what's going on? As we know, Olivia was speaking to Miles and she was getting to spy on the conversation. They had played a clip of his audition tape where they asked him if he was planning on getting married and he was like, next question, and she says he doesn't even want to talk about it. Olivia decided to bring in some surprise guests and she brought in Daniela and Akon. Now keep in mind that from the beginning, Shay hasn't liked Daniela because she told her flat out, I asked Miles if he wanted to get married and he said no. And since then, Shay has actually thought that Daniela wanted into Miles. They've had several discussions and Shay says that she doesn't trust Daniela. And from the start, Daniela's been saying he said it. That's what he said, like, why would she lie? And several times now we've heard Olivia say, well, everything's on camera, so we can just go back and look at the clips. So finally, we go back and look at the clips. So when Daniela asked him on day 1 if he wanted to get married, he didn't flat out say no, but he was very apprehensive about it. And Olivia was like, if that was my partner, I would be wondering why you were like that. And then all of a sudden you're saying that you're going to marry me at the end of the year. Then it showed the clip of Akon and the other boys asking Miles what he thought about marriage, and he says he'd maybe want an extension, like 2 years, 3 years. And Shay is fucking raging. And no wonder. And you know what? She must have been embarrassed as well, because the way she's been talking about Daniela and she's been making her out to be a liar is just so bad. And I'm glad that they finally showed the clips because Daniela's been right the whole time. This is it for Shay. She's thinking, there's no fucking way I'm waiting another 3 years. Like, understandable. I don't know what age she is, right? But she did say she wants to have kids. And if she wants to meet a new man, she's first of all got to go out and find a new man. Somebody that she wants to be the father of her children. You can't just pick somebody out the blue and hope for the best. Then she's got to try and get pregnant. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if you can go out and meet somebody and then go with them for 6 months and then start spitting babies out. It's much more complicated than that. And she's now feeling like she's totally wasted 5 years of her life with this guy who's just written the piss. And from the beginning, I was actually on his side and I was like, why does he need to get married? Because I don't believe in marriage. But she says that she told him from the start that she wanted to get married and have kids and be married before she has kids. So he's been stringing her along. He was really upset and he says, oh, she's never said she's leaving before. And they left the show. Now, actually, overall, I don't really think that he was a bad boyfriend. I think that he just needs to get his act together. And he should have told her a long time ago that he wasn't planning on getting married. It's time for the boyfriends to face their final challenges, and Izzy wants Max to give his friend an ultimatum and say that he's not going to Thailand with him anymore. Which usually I would think is a bit harsh, because he was doing that before they started going out. You'd maybe say, like, just go on one trip with him and one trip with me, or let me come with you, or whatever. But his friend is a complete dick, and it's very understandable. So Max decides to phone him, and he's steaming. And they're going, oh, he's drunk. Now, I don't know what time it was in the UK, but he was saying, oh, I thought it was bros before hoes. Like, just pure childish, like, shit that was coming out his mouth. Whether or not Max sticks to this change, I would be interested to know. I feel as if all shows should have some sort of reunion, because I need to know what's happened. Well, I mean, he could have been just saying that because he thought maybe there's going to be a cash prize or something at the end. We don't know what's going through their mind. Jacinta wanted Italo to block the girls that he'd been seeing. Now, I hate to say this about Italo. Okay, I think he's a cheating skis bag, right? And he might even be a sex addict. But I can see why she feels about him the way she feels about him. Obviously, she's saying he's amazing in bed or whatever. But throughout the show, he's gave her compliments, he's been treating her nice, he's like acted like her boyfriend, do you know what I mean? And if we didn't know that he was cheating on her, you wouldn't think, oh my god, he's a dick, or he speaks to her like shit or anything. Like, so that's one of the reasons why, like, I can totally see what she sees in him, even though he's a fucking cheating cunt bag. Anthony wanted Dylan to phone his mum and tell her that he's moving out. Now, that doesn't mean to say that they have to move out this month or this year, but he just wanted him to put his foot down and say, look, I'm moving out. And the mum says that she was really sad and she'd miss him, but in the back of her mind though, is she kind of thinking, oh, thank God I don't need to run after him anymore. But Dylan was saying, oh, I'll not move far, for I'll still get to see her all the time. And overall, I don't feel as if Dylan has been a bad boyfriend. And I don't think there's anything wrong with him actually living with his mum. I think the bigger problem is just the fact that he'd never done anything for himself, didn't clean, didn't run a bath, like just pure laziness. And listen, I am a lazy person, but that would even be too much for me. But the biggest improvement of all wasn't even anything to do with his laziness, it was to do with his confidence. And in the last episode when they were out on their date, and he was kissing him outside and holding his hand and all that, and I was just so emotional because it's such a change. It's one thing to stop cheating on somebody and stop being a skis bag and to stop going away with the lads all the time, but Dylan's change is benefiting not only him and his partner, but if there's other gay people watching this who feel the same as he did, maybe they'll also be watching it thinking, oh, do you know what, maybe it is okay to hold my boyfriend's hand outside. Or maybe it is okay. Why am I getting emotional? But it's like, you never know who's watching the show and who's feeling the same. Do you know what I mean? There's maybe other people watching who's cheated on their girlfriends and thought, fuck, I'm a dick. Maybe I should stop doing that. But I feel as if Dylan's change is just like better for a lot more people. So in the end, the girlfriends and Anthony had to choose who was the most improved boyfriend, and they weren't allowed to vote for their own boyfriends, or they could choose to go to Ibiza. So I was thinking they were all going to vote for each other and there was going to be like one winner. But I was shocked when they all picked Ibiza. And like, I wasn't shocked that Izzy chose Ibiza because she deserves a holiday because he's fucking off to Thailand all the time. But then Anthony picked Ibiza and Dylan was fucking raging, right? He's like, how dare he? The audacity! Personally, I don't think I could have chose Italo to win because he's done too much. And I don't know if Max is being genuine. So I would have had to have picked Dylan to win. But then Olivia revealed that they were all going to Ibiza. Woo! Party time! I would have liked to have seen that. But let me know what you thought of this season of Olivia Attwood's Bad Boyfriends. And hopefully there's going to be another season and then I'll see you again next time. Bye!